Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is MotorWeek. Join us for an adrenaline rush in one seriously sporty Audi, the TT RS. Pat Goss enlightens us on giving older beams a modern shine. Brian Robinson goes two-wheeling on a big Bavarian bagger. And more style and strength streams from the luxurious lines of the Lexus LS. So come drive with us next.
MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine, brought to you by...
You're shopping for tires online, and you have questions.
I do.
We're TireRack.com, and we have answers. And tools to help.
Like our tire decision guide. It's, take a look.
Oh. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install.
Hum is the connected car system that assists and empowers drivers to help them be prepared for the road ahead so they can get where they're going.
Rock Auto has auto parts from hundreds of manufacturers, offering a variety of brands, prices, and specifications. RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need.
Autotempest.com, where you can compare used car listings from sites across the web. State Farm is proud to support MotorWeek.
WeatherTech Digital Fit floor liners offer laser-measured, custom-fit vehicle floor protection in the front, back, and up the sides. WeatherTech, made in America.
It seems that ever since the Audi TT debuted, it's been trying to break free from a cute and cuddly stereotype image. Indeed, Audi has put a lot of effort into making the TT a legitimate sports car, adding supercar elements from the R8 along the way. So we might even call the latest TT an R4. But Audi went with TT RS. Regardless, it's the most powerful production TT yet. The third-generation Audi TT arrived for 2016 on Volkswagen's then-new MQB architecture. It was undeniably more fun than ever, yet still more of a golf coupe with all of the trimmings than an outright performance car. And while we can still see shades of Beetle cuteness, there is ever more high-performance menace lurking beneath all of the RS's still adorable curves. Exterior RS add-ons are relatively minor, but very noticeable, including oval exhaust outlets, a big fixed rear wing, red brake calipers, and matte aluminum optic trim, unless, of course, you choose to replace it with our car's gloss black trim. The smooth-running 2.5-liter turbo under the hood is technically not a new design, but it does feature an aluminum block now. Thus, the 5-cylinder weighs less and outputs more, 400 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. We'll stop short of saying it sounds awesome, but with the available sport exhaust system, it truly has a unique roar that is mostly pleasing to the ears. No manual transmission is available, but the 7-speed S-Tronic DCT comes with paddle shifters on the wheel and works well enough to keep us from complaining about that too much. The TTRS's Haldex all-wheel drive system is similar to the one found in Volkswagen's Golf R, which means less front bias and less tendency to understeer. In somewhat of a reversal of the norm, it's the magnetic ride dampers that are standard. The Dynamic Plus upgrade does away with them, going back to conventional shocks with fixed-rate springs. I guess Audi wants to make sure you're up for the lower ride height and stiffer ride that comes with the improved handling aspects. 19 or 20-inch wheels don't really help the comfort cause either. Even ceramic brakes are available. Our car wasn't so equipped, but still brought us to a halt from 60 and 112 feet with laser-like stability. We could have used a little more feedback through the pedal as well as from the front end when we took to our cone course. Here it stays noticeably flatter than the TTS and is perhaps a little more eager to turn in. Understeer has been eliminated, but otherwise not a vastly different TT experience. What does set it apart is the additional power. A flawless Porsche-like launch mode had us effortlessly hitting low 3-second 0 to 60s all day without breaking a sweat, including a best run of 3.2. Firm all-business gear transactions result in non-stop torque delivery until you finish the quarter mile in 11.7 seconds at 118 miles per hour. And you don't have to be guns a-blazing for it to put a smile on your face. Any quick break in traffic can do that, and while firm, the ride is certainly not a teeth-jarring one. There is plenty of Audi awesomeness inside to appreciate. Beside the usual virtual cockpit, climate controls integrated into the circular vents, and quilted seats, you'll find a new flat-bottom steering wheel with the start button and drive select mounted right on it, carbon fiber trim, and red accents. One small gripe, with the backup camera display located in the gauge cluster, it tends to get blocked when you're working the wheel. Government fuel economy ratings are 19 city, 29 highway, and 22 combined, so our 25.9 miles per gallon average on premium was not bad at all. Though there's a slightly below average energy impact score of 15 barrels of annual petroleum consumption with 6.5 tons of CO2 emitted. The TT RS Coupe is total fun until you realize that you can get a mid-engine Porsche Cayman S for about the same base sticker of $65,875. So sorry, Audi, we think the Cayman's even more fun. And that may not be a coincidence, as both companies do come under the same corporate umbrella. And perhaps they don't want an Audi overshadowing a Porsche. And it's not only the Cayman they have to deal with, as there's a wide variety of other performance cars near its price point. But no doubt the 2018 TT RS is a more serious car than before, and clearly belongs in any sports car conversation. BMW has been making motorcycles for a long time, and if there's one thing they know how to do, it's create bikes that makes anyone who rides them want to hit the back roads and never look back. At least that's the excuse our resident two-wheeler Brian Robinson had after a recent disappearing act on one of BMW's latest.
At their essence, motorcycles are essentially an engine with a frame and wheels attached to get it and you down the road. But if you want to get really far down that road and minimalism is not your thing, then BMW has a bike for you. To create the K1600B, BMW essentially took their K1600 GT Sport Tourer and sprinkled some cruiser dust on it to make it more appealing to American riders. Now, before you R1200C fans that are out there get all excited, this is not a cruiser clone. Here, BMW is more looking to capitalize on the current custom bagger trend. Basically, BMW has grafted a new back end onto the K1600 that not only looks a lot more stylish, but brings the rear seat and passengers significantly lower, more like a traditional cruiser. Exhaust pipes are rerouted, staying low to the ground, and expelling exhaust through a pair of huge mufflers. Up front, the adjustable windscreen is also lower, and there's a traditional appearing, though far from normal, tubular handlebar. The 1649cc inline six is beyond smooth, making 160 horsepower and 129 pound-feet of torque, as is the rest of the bike wrapped around it. Yet it's also fast and solid feeling, all leading up to a riding experience that's more sport tourer than cruiser. Cracking open this six-pack can indeed be exhilarating. Most things will be familiar if you spent any time on one of BMW's other K bikes, including the generally intuitive multi-controller on the left hand grip that controls a multitude of functions, including riding modes, adjustable suspension, heated grips and seat, as well as all of the usual trip meter displays. With BMW's optional keyless ride, no need to take the key out of your pocket, just hit the ignition button, thumb the starter, and you're good to go. Side opening saddlebags are longer and lower than the GTs, yet hold a decent 37 liters worth of gear each. Big grab handles inboard make strapping on a duffel a simple affair. 7 gallons in the tank easily gives you more than 250 miles of ride time before a refuel, and the seat is just comfortable enough to make an easy chore of it. The only time you really feel its 740 pounds of weight is in really slow maneuvers. Otherwise, at speed, the K1600B tends to shed weight as quickly as it eats up miles. If you do find the weight too much to deal with, the GTL's reverse assistant is available. Mid-mounted pegs are standard for a relaxed riding position, with the left side shifter working the 6-speed gearbox seamlessly. Front-mounted floorboards are an option if you like to stretch your legs while still in the saddle. Pricing starts at $20 grand, and you can get closer to $25 with available premium and touring packages. As for who the 2018 BMW K1600B is most likely to appeal to, well, unlike the R1200C, it's not really meant to win over the V-twin crowd. More realistically, it gives sport touring riders, and particularly BMW buyers, a highly stylish option to satisfy their wanderlust touring needs.
If you have an older car and you want to make it more up-to-date, we have just the person to talk to, Pat Goss, and he says there's a lot to consider.
For decades, headlights on cars and trucks have been like these, incandescent lights. Well, as time has gone on, they have moved from incandescent to HID, and now we're seeing most cars with LEDs. All right, now, what is the difference here? Well, the difference primarily is going to be that the color of these new lights is brighter and the durability may be better. But one of the things you have to keep in mind is that, well, you can make conversions to these things. Like here we have an HID conversion. We take this cover off of here and we can see that we have HID bulbs in there. It comes with the various transformers and everything like that. But you have to make sure if you're going to do one of these conversions that you get quality parts, because some of these parts are expensive if they're going to last and be reliable. Over here we have an LED conversion, and we look in the bottom of this one, and believe it or not, we have a teeny little fan in there that keeps the bulb cool. So some of them will have heat sinks, some will have fans, and so on. You have to research these things, make sure that they have the proper cooling and that they have the proper attachments for your car. All right, now, here's the rub with all of this. You see, changing to one of these systems, well, it may make the light whiter or more blue, but it may not give you more light on the road, because that is controlled by a number of different factors. Number one is the design of the reflector, which matches the way the light comes out of the bulb. The other thing is, especially if you have a pickup truck or an SUV or something that sits taller, in order to keep the light from blinding oncoming passengers, they're designed so that they're tilted down a little bit, and that means the light doesn't go out as far. So just changing the bulbs, you're still going to have the same adjustment, the same characteristics. You're just going to have a more whitish or bluish colored light. So do your research before you spend money on an upgrade kit, because you may not be happy with the results. And if you have a question or comment, drop me a line right here at MotorWeek.
Yet another long term is making its final trek down our driveway. This time it's our BMW X1, and we'll miss this entry-level sports activity vehicle a lot. Final tallies are 25,179 miles over 12 months, averaging 28.8 miles per gallon, well over the government's combined rating of 25. That's perhaps most surprising, as we weren't especially gentle with it, mostly driving it the way BMW intended. It's not the best-looking utility out there, and the interior is certainly more basic than luxury, but when it comes to driving, few crossovers can hang with the X1. We had no mechanical faults and no trips to the dealer